Hello and happy Bookmas. Welcome back to Alexandria Loves Books. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 25 books that I loved in 2025, and I will preface this with saying I still have some time to read more books in 2025, so there may be more books that I read after this video is filmed that I love. These are 25 books that I rated 5-star, 4.5, a few 4.25s, and then just a few 4 stars. So 4 and above, but more so closer to the 5-star category that I highly recommend, that I had a great time reading and I love the story and just great experiences reading these books. So without further ado, let's get into it because this is going to be a chatty video. I'm going through this chronologically, so the order of time I read it, January to now. The first book that I really enjoyed this year was Fragile Sanctuary. This is the first book in the Sparrow Falls series. This is a small town romantic suspense series, takes place in Oregon. The series basically follows these different siblings in this family, and they all have kind of traumatic backstories. They've either been adopted into this family, fostered, or maybe they may be like biological children in this family, but they also have a crazy backstory, and they fall in love with someone who usually also has a traumatic backstory, and their past comes to haunt them. And then there's some scary stuff, so suspenseful stuff going on. This one follows Rhodes and Anson, I believe his name is. He was like a former FBI person. Her family died. Her family died in a house fire, and she's the only one that survived that house fire when she was a kid. And so she lives with a lot of guilt. She's trying to move on, and she's an adult now. And Anson is working on like rebuilding this house for her, and their pasts come to haunt them, and they fall in love as they like fight that together. It's Grumpy Sunshine. It was just such an enjoyable time. It's not going to change your life. This series is very similar to each other, so I don't recommend you reading them close together. Space them out a little bit. They are kind of a little formulaic, but when you're in the mood for that like soulmate love, but the dark past that they're trying to escape from and then they have to fight it, you'll love this series. This was a 4-star for me. Another 4-star for me, Lights Out by Nevesta Allen. This is a dark romance series. This is a trilogy. I've only read the first book so far, but I'm hoping to get to the second book soon. People will say like this is better than Butcher and Blackbird. It's like a dark rom-com. I think I personally like Butcher and Blackbird a little bit more, but I read that the previous year. This follows Josh and Allie. Allie is a trauma nurse, and Josh, he posts thirst traps online wearing a mask, and Allie likes it. They kind of end up talking, and so then it's just like them like being all flirty and like mysterious with the mask and the stalking tendencies, and then he's like stalking her, but she likes it. And then there's kind of a switch up in the middle of this book when something happens and they have to work together to cover things up a little bit and to take care of things. And it is so funny. Josh is so funny in this book. I was laughing my butt off. Like I wouldn't expect a dark romance to make me laugh, but dark rom-coms exist, and Josh is hysterical. And I actually recommend listening to the audiobook. It was so funny. The audiobook narrators are so good. The couple who slays together stays together, as my mom always said. The third book was my first 5-star read of 2025. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I feel like I was late to the game with Taylor Jenkins Reid, but she has become one of my favorite authors. This follows Evelyn Hugo. She is a Hollywood star back in, I don't know, 50s, 60s, 70s. It takes place over a few decades over the course of her life. Monique is a magazine reporter, and Evelyn Hugo has asked Monique to write her life story. And she's like, why'd you pick me? What is going on? And then you get to hear about, yes, she was married 7 times to 7 different men. You learn about her story of where she came from nothing and how she got to where she is in life, a huge celebrity, rich, famous star. And you've learned about each of the marriages and why she married who she did and all the stuff that happened with like her career and her love life. And truly, when I think about it too much, I start crying. I love these characters. I love Evelyn. It breaks my heart, but also I love it. And Taylor Jenkins Reid really has a talent to make fictional characters feel so real. Like when I finish her books, especially this isn't like an actual series, but like a series of like celebrities in different decades, historical fiction, I get so attached to them and they feel so real, and it breaks my heart when I'm done reading and realize that they're not real and this is over. And I've read it and it's done. Oh, read that book. Next, we have a 4.25 star, and that is Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. I feel like everyone and their mother has talked about how amazing this book is, and I am no exception. I love this book. This is pregnancy trope done well. This follows Win and Bo. They have a one-night stand. She gets pregnant. She decides to keep the baby, and her and Bo are like on the same page of like, we're gonna make this work, we're gonna figure this out. Not like as like just as friends. They're gonna be like, we're friends and we're gonna figure out parenting this child together. And of course, it's a romance, they fall in love, and the story was done so beautifully. It felt very real. I think because you know it's a pregnancy trope right away, it's not like, oh, you're reading this love story and then, oh my god, I found out that there's a pregnancy, and it's just like, oh no, like I don't want like that to be what brings it together. But like this was done so well. It's funny, it's silly, it's also deep, and they like, I feel like there's some books where it's a romance where I'm like, I don't really feel the love, like I don't believe the love even though I know they're in love. This, I felt the love and it felt real to me. It's silly, but it's also deep, and it's well done. If you hate the pregnancy trope, I understand because I hate it too, but give this one a chance. Another 5-star read, we have Breaking Free from Body Shame by Jess Connolly. This is a Christian nonfiction book all about body image, and that is such a touchy subject for me, but I really needed encouragement when I listened to this book. I listened to the audiobook. I struggle with Christian nonfiction books because they are often very fluffy, and I'm like, where's the meat of the book? It's a lot of it is fluff and you're not really getting much out of it, like in my opinion. Everyone's different, but this one I really felt actually was encouraging and helpful, and it was the right balance of like, you don't need to look like these freaking models out there. You don't need to starve yourself. You don't need to like punish your body to make it look how you think it's supposed to look. Like, God made you so individually on purpose with such detail. Hi, pretty. That you don't need to change yourself, but also not promoting like not taking care of yourself. So it's still promoting like taking care of our bodies, not in a way to punish it, not in a way of like, oh, I need to lose weight and I need to look like this, but no, I'm going to take care of my body because that is a way to honor God, and it's a way to like honor myself even, and just take care of myself. And sometimes the things you need to do to take care of yourself do like have weight loss included, just depending on health. It really kind of takes out like that factor, and it's like, it's not about how you look. It's not about meeting some standard. You've already met the standard. And this was just so powerful for me. And honestly, I definitely want to reread this at some point because I'm someone that has always struggled with body image, and lately those feelings have been coming up and I've been struggling. So I highly recommend this book if you are a Christian who struggles with body image issues. Next, we have another 5-star, and I think I read these back to back. This is Dream Girl Drama by Tessa Bailey. This is the third book in the Big Shot series, which is an interconnected sports romance series. This follows Sig and Chloe. He is a hockey player. So basically, this is a forbidden romance story, which I don't read like too much of, but when it's done right, I really enjoy it. Clearly, I rate this 5 stars. Sig and Chloe, they meet one night and immediately there's a connection. They feel drawn to each other. Tessa Bailey often writes insta-love type stories. So immediately they're drawn to each other and they're like, this is my person. There's something special here. And then they're like, oh, like, can we see each other again? Like, I have a dinner to go to. Oh yeah, I have a family thing I have to go to. Okay, we'll like get each other's numbers or whatever. They separate. And yeah, they both actually had the same family dinner to go to because their parents are engaged. His dad is engaged to her mom. And this story, then they live near each other in Boston. He's helping her out a lot financially and also just supporting her dreams. She's a insanely talented, is it cello player? I don't know, some instrument. And he supports her in her dreams, and they become like best friends. But they're always like I know that I'm in love with you, and I know that I need to be with you, and you're my person, but like these outside forces, like we're gonna be step siblings soon. And I love this book. It was done so well. I love the plot. I love how they kind of figured out how to be together. It's not for everyone, but I love Tessa Bailey's books. They are funny, they are silly. I love her men always know what they want and they pursue their women, and I eat it up. I won't go too much into this next book because that is the second book in the Sparrow Falls series, Delicate Escape. I also rated this 4 stars, I think. This one follows Shep and Thea. Thea is very just like closed off, secretive because she's hiding from the past, and Shep is there for her and helps her open up and just like thrive and be her best self. And then her past comes back to haunt her. Read the series. I love it so much. Another 5-star from Miss Taylor Jenkins Reid. One True Loves. This book hurts me and loves me in the best way possible. This follows Emma. And so Emma in her 20s, she ends up marrying her high school sweetheart, Jesse. They build a life for themselves. They move from Massachusetts to, I think, LA. And 1 year into their marriage, Jesse dies in a helicopter accident. And so obviously she's heartbroken. She moves back home to Massachusetts. She's trying to heal. She's trying to rebuild her life, figure out who she is, what she wants, like healing from that pain and that grief and that heartache. And she ends up falling in love with Sam. And now she's in her 30s. She's in love with Sam. They're engaged. They have a life together. She gets the call that Jesse is alive. So she has a husband and a fiance. Can you believe it, Pearly? I know, crazy. And she has to like decide what to do. It is just a heartbreaking book that makes you feel so many emotions. I binged this book. I shed so many tears. Again, these characters just felt so real, and I really enjoyed the roller coaster of emotions that this book took me on, and like the solution or resolution, I guess you would call it, but just how she figured it out and like where these characters ended up. It was really interesting, and it's just a unique premise and crazy. I love this book. Back in 2023, I read Beach Read and I hated it. But this year I was like, you know what? I want to give her a second chance because so many people love her and I want to know. So I read Book Lovers and I rated it 4.5 stars. I absolutely loved this book. I had such a fun time reading it. It was humorous while also just being like, I don't know, just like real and honest and human. This one follows Nora and Charlie, and I don't remember all the details of this book, like the nitty-gritty details, but they live in New York City. I think Charlie is a book editor, I think, and then is she a literary agent? Yes, cutthroat literary agent. Basically, she is like the woman in Hallmark films that the MMC like breaks up with, like the when the male main character like leaves the city and goes to a small town and then falls in love with like a small town girl and then breaks up with his city girlfriend. Nora is that city girlfriend that gets broken up with. And her sister go down to this small town in North Carolina, and they actually keep running into Charlie, who they knew from New York City, who was an editor. They had like got off on the wrong foot, Nora and Charlie. If Nora knows she's not an ideal heroine, Charlie knows he's nobody's hero. But as they are thrown together again and again, in a series of coincidences no editor worth their salt would allow, what they discover might just unravel the carefully crafted stories they've written about themselves. They are like not your typical main characters, but they are real people, even though they're ink on paper. And it's a really beautiful story of them like falling in love and, I don't know, being the main characters. It's really well-rounded, well-developed in my opinion, and I really enjoyed this book. The Happy Ever After playlist by Abby Jimenez. I love Abby Jimenez. She writes amazing books. I highly recommend her in general. This is the second book in the Friend Zone trilogy. This one I rated 4.5 stars. I love this book. This follows Sloane and Jason. Sloane is at a rough spot. If you read The Friend Zone, the first book, which follows Sloane's best friend, you know, Sloane goes through something really hard. So she's kind of at a rough spot at the beginning of this book. And Jason goes by Jackson Waters or something because he is a superstar. He is a singer. I don't even know. Is he a rock star? Is he a country singer? I don't know. So she ends up finding this dog, like climbs or jumps into her car, and she's like, what the heck? She like calls the owner. The owner is Jason, who goes by Jackson publicly, and he's this famous singer, and he's like growing his career and everything. And so they start this like just like texting conversation while he's like away on like tours or whatever, but then he eventually, you know, comes back to LA. They then have an in-person, you know, connection and growth. And I really loved reading about Sloane falling in love after what she went through, and Jason was always so loving and kind and supportive. This was a really good book. In my opinion, it was the best out of this trilogy. And then Broken Harbor, the third book in the Sparrowfall series. I rated this one 4.25. This follows, what's her name? Sutton. She's a single mom. She runs the bakery. Cope is, you know, one of the siblings. He's this big hockey player, and he comes back to town. He's like doing this like camp that her son plays at, and they fall in love. Well, things from their past come to haunt them as these characters, you know, do, as that happens in the series. I love the small town romantic suspense. I think it's really done well, and I love how much the main characters in all of these books love each other so well and so hard, and they fight these things together, and it's really beautiful. The next book is an honorary 5-star because I purposely did not give it a rating, and that is Rebel Rising. It is a memoir by Rebel Wilson. I don't rate memoirs anymore. I used to, but then I was like, wait, why am I? It's just like weird because like you're reading their life story. But at first I was like, well, I'm reading like the way it's executed, but I don't know. It feels weird. But if I were to give this a rating, I would give it 5 stars. Her life story is so interesting to me. She's lived quite the life. Let me just say, she's been through so many things that like I didn't even know, like life paths that I didn't even know she went on. Reading about her life in Australia, growing up, her family life, the different like career paths she went on, the schools she went to, the adventures she went on, and then what brought her to acting and how she pursued it and how that happened, and her coming to the US and getting those roles that we all know and love her for. I really loved hearing about her, I don't know, body image story and her health journey. I think it was a really impactful story for me personally. So I love that. And then getting to learn or hear about her love life and her crazy dating stories that it's very funny too. I listened to the audiobook. She narrates it herself, and like hearing her jokes in her voice was just so funny. But it felt so special getting to like learn about how she fell in love with her now wife and having their daughter. Like I cried tears of joy and happiness at the end of the book because it meant so much to me, like reading and hearing about her, like kind of getting the happy ever after she always wanted and deserved. And obviously life's not over yet, but but still getting like those, like just falling in love with the right person and being happy. Also, like as an actor myself, I was like, I love reading about actors' memoirs, and because everyone's story of making it, if you can call it that, is just so different. So I love that. I'm gonna group a few of these books together. Obviously, I read Avatar this year and I fell in love. So we have my favorites were A Court of Mist and Fury, A Court of Wings and Ruin. They were both 5-star reads for me. And A Court of Silver Flames was 4.25 stars. I don't know what to say except I love this series. I love these characters. I actually love learning about the politics and the wars that they're doing and their love stories and the pain and the love and the happiness and Valaris and I love these characters and I am dying for the next book to come out. I need it in my hands yesterday, okay? At first, I always thought it was like an overhyped series. I was like, why are people so obsessed with this? Oh my God, get a life. I'm kidding. But then I read it, the first book I read, and I was like, I don't see the hype. Second book, I got the hype. And now I'm obsessed. So read the series, please. I know they're thick, but when you're reading them, you won't want them to end. And when it finally does, you'll be like, why not 100 more pages? You know? I'm obsessed. I love these characters. I love the found family. It's done so well. Hello. Oh, thank you for the kisses. Here is another contemporary romance. I rated 4.5 stars. Daydream. This is the third and I believe final book in the Maple Hill series, which is like a college romance series. And this is my favorite out of all three. This follows Hallie and Henry. And they are just, I feel like, really unique main characters. She's very bookish. She's writing her romance novel. She's going through some like family stuff that like irritated me. Not because I was like, why is it like this? But it's just like, I feel for her so much. This sucks. She should not be put in this position in her family. And Henry is, oh, you kiss in the books? Yeah, she likes giving kisses to my books. Henry is a hockey player. He's struggling with his own stuff of being captain and like being overwhelmed with stuff. And I think he's a really unique character because he has some different like social anxiety, like I don't know, ADHD, I don't know. And I think she has a note in the beginning of being like, I purposely did not like give him a diagnosis. There are so many reasons why, but aside from the real life obstacles Henry might face in the healthcare system, the main reason is people live fulfilled lives every day without an explanation for why they feel different. I feel like a lot of people can connect to Henry and his neurodivergent coded personality traits, or not personality, I don't know, traits. And like I've connected to my own like anxieties and like mental health stuff that like I feel a little different in some ways, and I don't feel like I see that often represented in characters. So he's just a really like refreshing character, and they're love, and they're best friends, and I just love them together, and they are great together. and I really enjoyed it. Indigo Ridge by Demi Perry, I rated 4.25 stars. This is another romantic suspense series, small town, I think in Montana. This follows Winslow and Griffin. She is the new chief of police. She needs to prove herself because everyone is like, you're not like the previous chief of police who was an old man. You know, that sexist garbage. And she needs to win over the Edens, who's like the founding family of this town. And her first night there, she has a one-night stand with this guy that she doesn't know. Then she finds out he's Griffin Eden, like the oldest son of the Eden family. And she's like, well, crap, that was a stupid idea. But they end up spending more time together. There is a murder in the small town, and so then she's working on solving that. Again, romantic suspense. I eat it up. For some reason, the suspense aspect of a story makes the romance feel like that much deeper and more special to me, because they have to be connected and love each other so much to like get through the suspenseful part. Unravel Me, I rated 4.25 stars. This is the third book in the Playing for Keeps series, a hockey sports romance. These books, in my opinion, are a little long and a little too spicy. But other than that, I find this entire series so well done. The romances always hit so hard. They just feel so connected and close, and I love that. These books are funny, but they are also deep. They're not surface level, and I just love that balance of like being able to laugh, but also being able to feel very emotionally connected to the characters and what's going on in the story. This one follows Adam and Rosie. Adam, I love Adam. This whole series, he just is a hopeless romantic. He wants to love and be loved. He wants a relationship. He is not like a player, one-night stand type guy. And he ends up falling in love with Rosie, who is a single mom. She is kind of struggling a lot with certain stuff. She's trying to raise her baby. She is also, I think, in vet school. So she has her hands full. She wouldn't know a hockey player if she ran into one, and that's perfect because Adam, he keeps just finding women that just want to be with him because he's a famous hockey player. And so they happen to run into each other and they fall in love, and it's really sweet and heartwarming, and I found it to be really beautiful. And I love this story, and I can't wait to continue the series. So the next we got Unlucky Like Us by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is the 12th out of 13 books in the Like Us series, which is a spin-off of the Addicted Calloway series. So I feel like many people have heard of the Addicted series. This is a 10-book series, which I've only read 2 so far, following 3 couples. They fall in love. The Like Us series is a spin-off following their kids and like the kids' love stories with their bodyguards. And then there is a third series / second spin-off series called the Cobalt Empire series. How many times can I say series? That follows the rest of the kids, because there's 3 couples and some of them only have like 2 kids, but others have like 6, okay? Most couples have multiple books as well in the series. So this one follows Luna and Donnelly. I can't say much because their first book is Misfits Like Us. This is their second book, and the 13th book is their third book, which I have not read yet, but hopefully I will read in December. So basically what I can say is Luna is like space babe. She loves just like sci-fi stuff. She writes her own fan fiction. She's a college student. And Donnelly, he's been a bodyguard for a bit. He comes from a not good family, like basic criminals. They've been in and out of jail. They're not trustworthy people. And so in the first book, like they've always had like a little bit of a connection, but I don't know. It's like, I don't know. But they fall in love, and it is not safe for them to be together because of his family, and his family kind of like negatively hurts the famous families. Because also, I don't know if I mentioned, those 3 couples and the families, they're famous. They are rich. They have all these companies. They have like a reality show. They are famous. And so the criminals and Donnelly's family tried to take advantage of him being a bodyguard for the famous families. And so it's not safe for them to be together. So that's basically the premise of like their entire like love story. But then obviously a lot of stuff is happening. These are thick books. And even though I get being intimidated because it's like a 10-book series, a 13-book series, and then a whole new series, and a lot of these books are thick, and couples have multiple books, and it's intimidating to get into. But this is like one of the best like found families, even though they're literally family, but a lot of other people who are not biological family that are like in this family, found family, if you will. You get to know these characters so well that you feel like you're a part of the family. The character development is done so well. Like I know who each of these characters are. The love they have for each other is so beautiful, and I'm obsessed. And truly, like, this feels like such a comfort series. It feels like home when I'm reading them, because I just feel at home. Like I feel like I belong. I'm part of the family, and I highly recommend this whole universe. And so Misfits Like Us I did enjoy, but I definitely liked Unlucky Like Us better. That part 2, I was not expecting that trope. I was blown away. Another Taylor Jenkins Reid book, Malibu Rising. This was another 5-star book. Yes, I read 3 Taylor Jenkins Reid books in 2025 and I rated all 3 of them 5 stars. Malibu Rising, again, famous people in the 80s. They have this annual summer party in Malibu. Everyone wants to be around the famous Rivas. So this follows these siblings, Nina, Jay, Hud, and Kit. They are the offspring of the legendary singer Mick Riva. By midnight, the party will be completely out of control. By morning, the mansion will have gone up in flames. But before that first spark, in the early hours before dawn, alcohol will flow, music will play, and the loves and secrets that shaped this family's generations will all come rising to the surface. It's about one unforgettable night in the life of a family, the night they each have to choose what they will keep from the people who made them and what they will leave behind. I put this book off for like 2 years because I was like, this sounds boring. I rated it 5 stars. I sobbed so much. And if I think too much about it, I will sob again. This one was more of like a painful sob. Like Evelyn Husbands, 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I cried because I was heartbroken for certain things and for the characters and what they went through. This one, I cried for me. This feels very vulnerable. I'm not going to go like too personal. But if you have daddy issues, this one is gonna punch you hard in the gut. It hurt my heart for like these kids. I mean, they're adults / like teenagers, but like the pain that they go through at the result of Mick's life choices. Have tissues with you. It is very heartbreaking. It's so human. Wow. That's really all I can say. I'm obsessed with this book. I need to read everything Taylor Jenkins Reid has ever written. We're almost done, folks. Thanks for staying with us. We got Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. I rated this 4.25 stars. This follows Elsie and Jack. So she has like a fake dating business. She's an adjunct professor, toiling away at grading labs and teaching thermodynamics. And then Jack, who is the annoyingly attractive and arrogant older brother of her favorite client, turns out to be the cold-hearted experimental physicist who ruined her mentor's career and undermined the reputation of theorists everywhere. She then is in line to get her dream job, and he's standing in the way of that dream job because he rules over the physics department at MIT. I love this book. Elsie is a huge people pleaser. She really struggles with that, and Jack sees through that and like sees her for her and like really encourages her to be herself and stand firm in that. Like, even though it's like kind of like rivals a little bit, like it doesn't, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. I'm bad at words. I loved them getting closer. I loved how he felt about her. I actually enjoyed the science talk, even though science does not make sense in my brain a lot of the time. I really loved their love, and I loved this book. I'll leave it at that. Wild Card. Of course I was going to have an Elsie Silver book on this list. Obviously, I did love Wild Side. I think I rated that 3.75, which is weird because now I'm like, I feel like that would be a 4. Just like thinking back on it. But that was back in March. This was back in September. Wild Card, the 4th and final book in the Rose Hill series. This series follows single dads, but they're all like unconventionally single dads, except for I think Wild Eyes. That's a little bit more conventional. But the rest of them are in more unique ways. So Gwen meets Bash at the airport. Their flights are delayed because of like a snowstorm, and they immediately hit it off. They have like so much fun in this airport, and they're like just like having fun and being silly, and they clearly have this connection. They go their separate ways, and it's like, I don't know, 8 months to like a year later, and she hasn't heard from him, and she's like, oh, I guess I'll just like move on. And so she started not like dating, because it was like a full-on relationship, but she started just like, I think like kind of like hooking up basically with this guy named Trip. Well, at Trip's birthday party, she finds out that he's Bash's son. So it's ex-boyfriend's dad, and I really feel like Gwen and Bash are like, they're meant to be, okay? I love their love, okay? Sue me. I love Elsie Silver's writing and her stories and her characters. I'll put these 2 books together. We have Eclipse and Breaking Dawn. I rated this one 4.25 and then 4.5. Nope. Did I lie? I put this as 4.5 in my notes, but I think this was 4.25. I am Team Edward. I love the story. I love these characters, and it's a little messed up, you know, the whole imprinting stuff with Jacob. I don't like Jacob, but I love these stories. I love these books. I don't know what else to say. It's Twilight. If you haven't read or watched Twilight, what are you doing? Go watch Twilight or read it right now. We're almost done. Last book. We have If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. This was like the fall romance of 2025. Everyone and their mother has been reading it this year. And so of course I did too. And I rated it 4.5 stars. I loved this book. This takes place in 1997 in small town Vermont. So Michelle, her mother ran a bed and breakfast in Vermont. Michelle and her family are from / live in Seattle. And so her mom passes away. Michelle is going through a divorce. And so she goes to Vermont to run the bed and breakfast for 3 months while her sister finishes college, and then her sister will move will move to Vermont to run the bed and breakfast. Michelle meets Cliff, the next door neighbor, who is the baker. He's a single dad. He has 2 kids. He is like the golden boy of this town. He is such a golden retriever, and you can't help but love him. He is sweet. He's a good dad. He's funny. He's caring. He's intentional. And she's kind of like more like Black Cat energy a little bit. She's like the city girl. She's a little closed off. She has a lot of preconceived ideas about her worth and who she is based on how her ex treated her and stuff. They have the fall into the holiday seasons where they're spending together, and they become friends, and then they become a little bit more. And this was such a beautiful story. This gave the vibes of a 90s rom-com, and it hit so hard because it was such a refreshing take on a romance, specifically like a fall romance, that is just different from a lot of the contemporary romances we have today in 2025. So I highly recommend this book. I know it's right now for you. Right now it's still fall for me. I haven't taken down my fall decor like I was supposed to do. I'm pre-filming. I told myself, remove my fall decor for this video because it's for Bookmas. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Next fall 2026, or if you're just in a fall mood randomly at any point in the year, I highly recommend you read this book. It is so good. I'm tired of talking. I don't want to hear my voice ever again. So those are 25 books that I loved so far this year. I know there's going to be more books that I read in the upcoming few weeks before the end of the year that I know I'm going to love, because why wouldn't I? It would be a real shame if every single book I read from now to the end of the year sucked, but let's hope not. Thank you for watching, sticking with me. I hope you are enjoying Bookmas so far. I love you all so much. If you'd like to keep up with me on the daily, here are my socials, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! I don't know what that was. Oh, I'm getting a call.